بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we continue our study of Bidayat al-Hikmah. We mentioned arguments for al-wujud al-dhihni, for mental existence.
Which page are we on?
My book is different from it. Mine is page 37. It's the Arabic one. So, after mentioning three arguments, which all of them were trying to say that whenever we know something, something exists in our mind which is somehow identical with what is known. And that is why we said everything exists either with al-wujud al-khariji or al-wujud al-dhihni. You have a flower outside and you have knowledge of that flower which is inside your mind. But it should be identical. Yeah, the knowledge of flower cannot be something else. It has to be flower. It's an image of a flower. And we said, you cannot deny that we have wujud al-dhihni because there are things that we know about them and there is no place in the world to find them. So, I don't want to repeat those arguments. Now, what we want to study is objections. Allama Tabatabai has here تتم قد استشكل على وجود الماهيات في الذهن بمعنى حصولها بأنفسها فيه إشكالات. With respect to the existence of quiddities in the mind, in the sense that mahiyat themselves come to the mind, there have been objections. Some people don't accept that mahiyat themselves come to our mind. Okay? The first two objections are the major ones. Because as you will see, there are many objections, but these two are the major ones, and one of them is easier than the other. The first is easier. The first objection, you know, anything which is in our mind is kayfun nafsani. I mean any image. Knowledge. When we have knowledge, means we have surah, an image of something in our mind, which is corresponding to that. So, you have an image of flower, an image of Zayd, Amr in your mind. That image is kayfun nafsani. It's a quality which occurs to nafs. So, our nafs is jawhar, and this is its araz, accident. Nafs is substance and this araz, yeah? Like your nafs becomes happy. That is also kayf for nafs. So, what is this image? If someone asks you what is the mahiyya of this image, you say it is arazun, kayfun nafsani. It's araz, it's accident. But if this is image of a person or image of a flower that person or that flower are substances, are jawhar. So we have problem. Outside it is jawhar, inside is araz. So how can you say it's the same mahiyya? You said the same mahiyya, sometimes it is outside and has effects, and sometimes it is in the mind as has no effects. But it has to be the same thing, otherwise there is no correspondence. So how can the same mahiyya fall under two different categories, jawhar and araz? Of course, araz is not a category. Araz is a title for 9 categories. Yeah? Maqulat ash, 9 of them are a'raz, 1 is jawhar. So, the first objection is this. How do you put together the idea of wujud al-dhihni, which means that every mahiyya comes to mind, and the idea that ilm is kayfa nafsani? If it is ilm kayfa nafsani, and at the same time outside is jawhar, these contradict. So please look at the first objection. Al-ishkalul awwal. The first objection. أن القول بحصول الماهيات بأنفسها في الذهن. To say that mahiyat by themselves come to the mind, occur in the mind, يستلزم implies كون الشيء الواحد جوهرا وعرضا معا. This would imply that the same thing would be both substance and accident, and this is impossible. وهو محال. Something to be at the same time jawhar and araz. You remember jawhar and araz? Jawhar is the mahiyya which doesn't need any subject. Mahiyatun idha wujidat wujidat la fi mawdu'. Araz is idha wujidat wujidat fi mawdu'. It needs a subject. Bayanul mulazama. Now we want to explain why, if we believe in wujud al-zihni, it would imply something being both jawhar and araz. Okay? Why there is such a correlation or implication? أن الجوهر المعقول في الذهن. The jawhar, the substance which is understood in our mind, jawhar. For example, flower. Flower is jawhar. When it is understood by us, it has to remain jawhar. You cannot understand flower as not jawhar. Otherwise, this is not ilm. Yeah? If I miss such an important thing, I miss something which is substance and think it is not substance. So how can I have ilm? So, أن الجوهر المعقول في الذهن, the substance which is understood in our mind, jawhar, has to be a substance. It's a substance. Why? بناء على انحفاظ الذاتيات, because all the essential parts have to remain. Flower has to remain flower, and flower is a substance. A tree, water, anything. If it is substance outside, inside also has to be substance. بناء على انحفاظ الذاتيات, because all the essential parts has to remain. وهو بعينه عرض. But this jawhar in my mind, this flower which has come to my mind, at the same time that it has to remain jawhar to match what is outside, at the same time has to be also accident, because it has come to my mind and has become a quality for my mind. وَهُوَ بِعَيْنِهِ عَرَضٌ لِقِيَامِهِ بِالنَّفْسِ. Because now it is قَائِمٌ بِالنَّفْسِ. It stands as a quality for the soul. قِيَامَ الْعَرَضِ بِمَعْرُوضِهِ. The way an accident occurs for its subject. Like a color, like softness, like happiness. These are all different types of kayf. We have kayf mahsus, kayf nafsani, all these types of qualities, for example. So, is mulazama clear? Why to believe in wujud zihni requires something to be jawhar and araz at the same time? Okay. So, mulazama is clear. Why this is problem? If someone says, okay, I accept that it requires something to be Jawhar and Araz, but there is no problem. Say, no, there is problem. How can something be both Jawhar and Araz? Because this means something is under two different types of categories. These categories are not, intermingling. You cannot, belong to two categories. These are totally independent, parallel to each other. Amma butlanul lazim. But why lazim? What is implied? Means to belong to Jawhar and Aras together. Why this is false? فَلِلُزُومِ كَوْنِهِ قَائِمًا بِالْمَوْضُوعِ وَغَيْرَ قَائِمٍ بِهِ. Because it has to be something which is depending on the subject, since it is Aras, since it is Kayf and Afsani. And it has to be not depending on the subject, since it is Jawhar. Nothing can be both Jawhar and Aras, because these are two separate things, two parallel things. So, this is the first objection. So, the core, the weight of the first objection is on being Jawhar and Aras. The second argument, objection goes further. It doesn't stay at the level of Jawhar and Aras. He says, Wujud al-Zihni is Kayf Nafsani. What is known, which exists outside and is now known to us, can belong to different categories. Can be Kam, can be Kayf, can be Mata, can be Jawhar. Even when it is Kayf, can be another type of Kayf. For example, color. Color is Kayf Mahsus. Knowledge is Kayf Nafsani. These are two different types of Kayf. Don't match. Okay? Because Nafs cannot have color. Okay? So, the second objection is similar to the first one, but goes further down. Instead of just saying Jawhar and Araz, says, even if the other one is Araz, but these Araz are different. Okay? So, it's not the problem of being Jawhar and Araz. It's the problem of being under two different types of categories. Or under two different subtypes. Okay? Like Jawhar and Kayf Nafsani, Kam and Kayf Nafsani, or Kayf Mahsus and Kayf Nafsani. Either under two categories or under two different subtypes of categories. Al-Ishkalu Thani. The second objection. أن الماهية الذهنية مندرجة تحت مقولة الكيف. The mental mahiyya quiddity falls under the category of kayf. بناء على ما ذهبوا إليه. Based on what many philosophers have accepted. Allama Tabatabai himself has another idea, and inshallah we will talk about it. But a very common idea among philosophers has been that ilm is kayf nafsani. Okay? بناء ما على ما ذهبوا إليه, based on what philosophers have held, have accepted, which is كون الصور العلمية كيفيات نفسانية, that scientific images are qualities for the soul. You can say psychic qualities. Psychic qualities. So, this in mind is كيف نفساني. But ثم إنا إذا تصورنا جوهرا. But if you conceive a substance, like a flower, like a human being, then this implies كان مندرجا تحت مقولة الجوهر لانحفاظ الذاتيات وتحت مقولة الكيف. Then this would imply two things which would not be matching each other. On the one hand, it has to be jawhar, because what you have conceived, like a flower, that's a jawhar, and it has to remain flower, so it has to remain jawhar, because zatiyat have to remain. But also it falls under maqulat al-kayf, because it is knowledge, and knowledge is kayf nafsani. And these maqulat are totally separate from each other. وَالْمَقُولَاتْ مُتَبَايِنَةٌ بِتَمَامِ الذَّوَاتِ. They are completely different from each other. Because you know, these maqulat are ajnas. And anything either starts with this or with this. You know, for example, human beings. جسم نام حساس متحرك بالإرادة, from jism, which is one type of jawhar. It's different from aras. It's different from kam or kayf or kaza. All maqulat are totally mutabayan, means they never overlap. They may belong, you know, like different additions. For example, a human being is jawhar, but also has aras, has kam, but each of them is separate. Existentially, they may belong to the same thing, but each of them is separate. The color is different from quantity. Quantity is different from substance. Yeah? So, فَيَلْزَمُ التَّنَاقُضَ فِي الذَّاتِ. This would imply that it would be self-contradictory. It would mean that there is a conflict inside. How this mental image can be kayf nafsani and at the same time jawhar. Or if it is something else, suppose what we have conceived is غير الجوهر وكذا. Similarly, this happens إذا تصورنا مقولة أخرى غير الجوهر. If we conceive something from another category, كانت الماهية المتصورة مندرجة تحت مقولتين. For example, a color. Color because it's also kayf, but two types of kayf. But suppose quantity, suppose location, timing, these are different a'ras. So, if it is jawhar, is a problem. If it is another category other than jawhar, again there is problem. وَكَذَا لَوْ تَصَوَّرْنَا. Even if it is kayf. For example, kayfan mahsusan, we conceive a perceived quality like color, so it falls under kayf mahsus. But because it is knowledge, it falls under kayf nafsani. So two subtypes which cannot be overlapping. هو اندراج شيء واحد تحت نوعين متباينين من مقولة. One thing falls under two types of the same category. So either two categories or two types of categories which again cannot match. كيف محسوس and كيف نفساني cannot, overlap. They are mutabayin. They are totally separate. كيف محسوس, like color, red, brown. How can it come to nafs? Nafs has no color. Yeah? So when you have an image of brown, it has to be brown, which is كيف محسوس, but it has to also be كيف نفساني. So this is the objection. قالوا, and this is Hajia Sabzawari. He doesn't say whom, it's a qalu, but it seems this objection is from Hajia Sabzawari, the one who has Manzume, famous book on philosophy in poems, and then he has commentary and footnotes. So, according to Hajia Sabzawari, the second problem is worse, it's more difficult. هذا الإشكال أصعب من الأول. This objection is more difficult than the first one. صعوبة means difficulty. أصعب means more difficult. This is more difficult than the first one. Why? You have to listen carefully. To explain why it is more difficult, it's difficult. He says, the first problem was the problem of being Johar and Aras. Yeah? Because we said, when it belongs to the mind, it is Aras, dependent on Nafs. But outside was Johar. Suppose you were thinking about Johar. The first objection was when we conceive a substance, like a flower. Okay? So, some people may say, we can a little bit change the definition of Jawhar. What is the definition of Jawhar?
Does not need a mode.
Does not need.
Pardon?
Does not need a subject. Mode.
Exactly, yes. But let's a little bit change it. We say, ماهية إذا وجدت في الخارج وجدت لا في موضوع. Substance is the quiddity that when exists outside, exists without subject.
Just changing the name.
So if it is in the mind, no problem. But if it has with wujud khariji. Okay, but I think this does not solve the problem. You have to still explain why when it is in the kharij. Yeah? So you just shift the problem one step, away, but the problem is there. Yeah? So the second problem is more difficult because when it is two different categories and one is, for example, kam or kaif, which is kaif mahsus, so then we cannot say the same thing. Okay? So, قالوا وهذا الإشكال أصعب من الأول. They have said, which is indeed Hajia Sabzawari. This second is more difficult than the first objection. Why? إذ لا كثير إشكالا, because there is no that much difficulty, that much problem. في كون شيء واحد جوهرا وعرضا. There is not that much problem that something be both Johar and Aras. You say, what? How can something be both Johar? It says, okay, we will explain. لأن التباين الذاتي, because the essential difference, separation, الذي بين المقولات, which exists between different categories, is بين الجوهر والكيف والكم وغيرها. These 10 categories are 100% different and separate from each other. أما مفهوم العرض, but the concept of accident means something which needs a subject. القائم بالموضوع, depends on the subject. This by itself is not a category. You remember the question I told you to think about it in the previous semester? Yes. That araz by itself is not a category. Yes? Araz is not a category. We have 9 categories which are all accidental, but they don't fall under one category. So, araz for these 9 is not jins. So it's not zati. It's araz am. I hope you remember what is araz am. Do you remember araz am? Pardon? Yes. You know when in Mantiq we had kulliyat khams. Yeah? There are 5 types of mafahim. 3 of them are dhati, 2 of them are arazi. Zati is jins, fast no. Arazi is araz am and khasse or araz khas. Okay? Yes. So, jins is dhati. Like substance. Substance for jism, nafs, aql, madde and surah was jins. But araz for those 9 was not jins. Is araz am. It's from outside. That is mahmul min samimeh. Means you just throw out of it. Like imkan. Imkan for mahiyah is not zati. Yeah?
It's just a quality.
No. This is about it's about mafhum. Araz am is different from accident. Araz am means a concept which is not essential. If you call it accidental, but you have to be careful not to get confused. So it's better to say non-essential. Non-essential concept. Yeah, okay? So, araz for those 9 accidental categories is arazun amun. The same is with imkan. All those are actually all 10 mahiyat are all of them mumkin. Johar, kam, kaif, mata, ain, waz, jada. All of them are mumkin. Is mumkin jins for them? No. Mumkin is not jins. Because they don't have common jins. They are themselves highest ajnas. Mumkin is araz am for them. The same is with araz. Araz is araz am for them. Means not essential concept. أما مفهوم العرض فهو عرض عام صادق على 9 من المقولات. This is a general concept which is not essential and is applicable to 9 categories. And it is possible من الجائز أن يعم الجوهر الذهني أيضا. So it can also go a little bit further and embrace mental substance. Because mental substance also needs substance. A substance which exists in the mind, it needs mind. So mind is the substance for mental substance. So mental substance in the mind is not substance. It's aras. Yeah? Mental substance outside is substance. In the mind needs a substance. Okay? So it can include also mental substance. لأن المأخوذ في رسم الجوهر, because what has been taken in the definition of Jawhar is this. And it says rasm. This is not had, because had needs, you know the difference between had and rasm? Had means when you bring all the essentials. Jawhar is at the top. It has no jins and fasl. So this is rasm, not had. ماهية إذا وجدت في الخارج وجدت لا في موضوع. Substance is a mahiyya, a quiddity that when exists outside, exists without a subject. This is possible with existing in the mind on a subject. Because we say إذا وجدت في الخارج وجدت لا في موضوع. فمن الجائز أن يقوم في الذهن في موضوع. So it's possible that in the mind it depends on a subject. وهو إذا وجد في الخارج كان لا في موضوع. But if it exists outside, doesn't need موضوع subject. But so we managed to find an answer for the first objection, but the second objection you cannot answer it like this. أما دخول الماهية الواحدة تحت مقولتين. Araz was not a maqula, so it was okay. But تحت two maqula, under two categories, a problem. Kal jawhar wal kayf. Under jawhar and kayf, substance and quality. Or al-kam wal kayf, quantity and quality. It's the problem. Why? Because all these categories are mutabayanatun bitamam al-zawat. They are completely separate and different from each other. فَاسْتِحَالَتُهُ ضَرُورِيَّةٌ. So its impossibility is self-evident. لا مدفع لها. There is no way to remove this problem. So, Allama Tabatabai says, some people, because of these problems, they have denied existence of something in the mind. You remember we said some people said whenever we know something, it is just idafa, a relation between the nafs, between soul and that thing. Nothing happens here. So when I see a flower, it's not just relation between my mind and that. Nothing comes here. Of course, this is wrong. But these people have tried to run away from these objections. Or some people have said, something comes into mind, but it is not identical in mahiyya with what is outside. It's shabah. It's just like a vague ghost. So there is flower, but here it's not flower. It's kind of something similar to that. Therefore, they don't belong to the same mahiyya. So بالتوجه إلى ما تقدم من الإشكال والنحو, considering what objections have been mentioned already and similar objections, ذهب بعضهم, some of the philosophers or theologians, because some of them are theologians, متكلم, they have gone to this idea, إنكار الوجود الذهني من أصله. They have totally, completely denied mental existence. How? بالقول, by saying أن العلم إضافة من النفس إلى الخارج. It's just a relation between nafs and their external world. فالمعلوم, so what is known is only there outside. مندرج تحت مقولته الخارجية فقط. It is only under that category which is its real category outside. Like if it is a flower, it's just a substance. Nothing is happening in my mind. وقد عرفت ما فيه. But you remember we said this is a problem. How can then you justify sarf shay? How can you justify saliba? There are many things that you cannot justify. وبعضهم means ذهب بعضهم. Some other philosophers or theologians have gone to this idea. أن الماهيات الخارجية موجودة في الذهن. They say no, we accept that they come to the mind. These external mahiyat, qualities, come to mind. But what they don't accept is that the same mahiyya is here. They say بأشباحها لا بأنفسها. The same mahiyya doesn't come, but something similar, a very vague and unclear picture, image comes. Shabah. Sometimes from distance you see something, you don't know it's an animal or a human being, it's a very ambiguous, vague picture. وَالشَّبَهُ الشَّيْء يُغَايِرُ الشَّيْء وَيُبَايِنُهُ. Shabah of something is vague, is different from it. فَالصُّورَةُ الذِّهْنِيَّةِ كَيْفِيَّةٌ نَفْسَانِيَّةٌ. They say, okay, no problem, because shabah, so they are not the same. Shabah, which is in the mind, is kayf nafsani, but the external category is whatever it is. It is Johar or Kam or Kayf or whatever. But this is also a problem. We said we don't accept Shabbat because this means we can never know anything. This leads to denial of knowledge. Okay, now let's see what answers have been given. These are answers to the objections. وَقَدْ أُجِيبَ عَنِ الْإِشْكَالِ بِوُجُوهٍ. There have been different answers to this ishkal. I think we would have a little break and then we continue. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.